I'm John Prophet, and this is The first time I came to Vulture Mine, it was by pure chance. I was driving into Wickenburg from a back road when I saw the weathered timbers of an old structure jutting up into the clear sky. Never one to pass up places of antiquity and a potential for some old western lore, I pulled in to explore the old town. It was quiet then. No tourists, no guides, and no action. Just the ghosts and memories of a once profitable mining operation. Back then, the rare person who stumbled across the place simply paid the $7 fee and was free to explore the remnants of the old mining town on their own. There's an old West proverb that says, the quickest way to double your money is to fold it over and put it back in your pocket. But apparently Vulture Mine's new owners had never heard that one. The Vulture has been brought back to life with the idea of once again wresting fortune from the ground. The story goes that Henry Wickenburg, whom the town of Wickenburg is named after, had been traveling along the Hacienda River when he spotted a large quartz outcropping. He climbed up, chipped around, and found the visible gold embedded right in the surface of the quartz. The small town that formed around the mine in 1863 is in amazingly good shape. And though it's once again a working mine, it is still open for guided tours on Saturday mornings. I had the chance to talk with Tom Riggs. He's a man with many stories of his own, and seemed the perfect candidate to be guiding these tours.
Originally, I'm from Illinois. I grew up in Illinois, southern Illinois, the farm fields, actually in what they call the Little Ozarks. It's the mountainous area in southern Illinois, rolling hills, very poor area in the state, small farms, and grew up in a working family. Went to college, graduated, went to work for Conoco Oil. And worked for Conoco Oil for about 8 years. Built some of the largest excavating equipment that mankind's ever seen. And that's what I did for a living for years. Well, the Vulture Mine, we're hoping, becomes a working mine again. Okay, and we've been working toward that, Mike and I have, and his crew. And what we're hoping for in the end is for you to be able to walk in here, you see a mine of 1912, you see what was here. We're hoping for some buildings that we're able to restore down the road where you'll be able to sit in and watch a slideshow and what have you. And eventually, we may be able to get those. It just takes a lot of money to do this. It takes a lot of money. So you're going to be able to see what's transpiring 110 years apart. Okay, you're going to see what technology is done in 110 years. And that's what you're going to get to see hand for hand. And that's what we're hoping for. It'll be an educational experience that most people can never do again in their life. The group of men that do this, like I say, we're all volunteers. We all dig. We all look for history. We're into it. We're not in it for ourselves. We're in it for the joy of making people smile and educate them as to what really went on here, how the miners dealt and what they dealt with,
What life was like.
Yeah, what life was like, exactly. So we started putting stuff back together. We've put the gas station back together. We've brought in the old antique trucks, and then we started going back into old mechanical catalogs. And we started determining what equipment was. I met a lot of really neat people, old timers. Their stories reflected a lot of the history that was throughout this area. And I collected those stories, and I remember the men like they were here today, standing before me. I can picture them in my mind, what they look like. And a lot of them weren't from the United States. They were from Europe. They came here to mine, their families did. And so it was a very colorful group, that's from here to Quartzsite. And so I covered a large part of the state, and I met a lot of really neat people, that are now gone, and their histories are gone. But a lot of the stories, I remembered, and it instilled into me a kind of desire to want to preserve a lot of this, I like people to ask me questions so I can explain stuff to them, and I got to draw them out, and you kind of, as a tour guide, when we do this, us guys, we kind of learn to read our tour group initially when they show up. When they're sitting here showing up, we're going, well, this is going to be a tough group. And it's like being a comedian. Every time we do the tour, we change it a little bit. The tour that if you come on next week, there'll be a little bit different wording, and things will change. I'll show you something a little different, so that we don't get bored, And the public because I have repeat people come back, and they enjoy it, and they come back, and when they come back, I give them a little bit different something, to think about, and that's what they're looking for. I want you to leave with a good memory, a lot of photographs, and the desire to learn more about what your history's about, about this area and about your state, what happened, and how people lived. We want a historical tour, and that's what we're trying to preserve it as. What do you think, Mikey? Huh?
Vulture Mine is probably one of the best preserved ghost towns in Arizona. I remember the man who used to manage the property once said, "There's probably enough gold in the stones used to build these houses to make a man rich." And to those sentiments I would add, enough spirits drifting along the wind to satisfy even the most ardent ghost believer. Those ghosts may have made way for the living for now, but the gold fever obviously lives on, in a new generation of explorers.